I'm back with a bunch of cheap tools that will make making art a lot easier. And no, just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're bad. So here are 5 tools under $10 for artists that don't suck. So the first tool I have isn't even an art tool, but it's something that will help you improve all your other art tools. This is a badminton racket grip. Now, I've been drawing for a long time now, and I'm not as young as I used to be. I can't draw for an extended period of time without feeling any pain in my hand or wrist. So this is a preventive measure I'm taking. I've taken the effort of wrapping all my tools in this grip. The problem I have with most pens is that they're too narrow or thin. It's a very common problem with ergonomics, which is that most things are just too small for your hands to grip. Story of my life. On top of that, because most pens are made of this smooth plastic, every time my hand gets sweaty, the pen starts becoming slipperier, which makes gripping them even harder. So this helps me reduce any additional strain. Now, these ones are made for badminton and they're made of this puffy rubber material. You can also get ones made for tennis or lacrosse or just about any other racket sport. Now, they come in different materials as well. Some of them have this towel-like material and they're really cheap, and you can just buy one grip and cut it in half or quarters and use them for multiple pens. The Uniball Air is a pen that defies reality. So I always talk about making digital art feel more like traditional art. That's why I've developed the Essential Inks brushes and now the Pulp System paper texture pack. Now, if you want to know more about that, check out the link below and use the code Chroma for 20% off. But the Uniball does the complete opposite in that it's a traditional pen that mimics a digital tool. This pen should not exist. It's a gel pen that has pressure sensitivity. That's right, if you push harder on it, the line gets thicker, like a brush pen or the hard round brush in Procreate. Now, I think it's designed for Japanese writers since stroke width is such a big deal for kanji penmanship, but Western calligraphers eventually caught on to it, and now I'm putting you artists onto it too. In a way, it feels like drawing in pencil because of the width modulation, but you get the stark lines of a gel pen. The ink is also quite water resistant, which is nice because my favorite gel pen, the Pilot High-Tech C, isn't. Now, most gel pens aren't really worth talking about because they mostly draw and act the same. From the Pilot High-Tech C to the Uniball 1 to the Sakura Jelly Roll. Now, the biggest difference to them is the exterior design, but the Uniball Air truly is a unique innovation and has managed to carve out its own little niche in the world of pens. Now, if that sounds cool to you, maybe you can try defying reality. This set of tools is for the artists who want to feel like they're one of those people drawing at a large drafting table, and that's because they are drafting tools. For the longest time, I didn't think these tools would be useful to me. I'm talking about ellipse guides and French curves. And no, French curves is not one of my favorite categories on OnlyFans. It's these weird looking templates. These are guides for basically drawing any type of curve that you can think of. Oh, and ellipse guides are for drawing ellipses. One of the most common causes of my drawings being ruined is due to a shitty ellipse that throws the perspective out of whack. Now, the French curve is a little more complex and requires a bit of planning and a slight learning curve, excuse the pun, beforehand. But again, it's such an easy way to make your drawings look sharper and more refined. It's not so great for sketching, but it's really good for lining or inking over an existing sketch. It works great for both hard surface drawings like automotive art and for soft surface stuff like hair. And it's old school, but you should give it a try. This sounds really silly, but I'm rediscovering the ruler. For the longest time, I've taken a strange amount of pride for drawing without a ruler, and I know it's somewhat impressive to be able to draw a line this straight without using a ruler. But I've been giving it some thought. I don't know, I just feel like it's such a weird hill to die on, and I cannot tell you the countless number of drawings that I've ruined from a wonky line, and I'm just kind of done with that. So I've been using rulers and I've been looking at a few of them, and I found some that you might find interesting too. So this was not necessarily for drawing, but it's really awesome for doing any cutting. This ruler is transparent, but it has an aluminum edge. That means you can use it to cut things and still be able to see through it, and I cannot tell you how awesome that is. Oh, it also has like these rubber feet that prevent it from sliding around, and I don't know why more rulers don't have this. And this one is a set square. I'm sure you know what this is. I mean, you've seen it in geometry class probably, but it's also just great for regular drawing. It doesn't take up too much space on my desk, especially like the other rulers. And yeah, it's nice to be able to draw perfectly perpendicular lines when you want to. There's also these ones with the groove in them, and I've just recently found out why they have these grooves. And I meant as guides for painting straight lines. So this is how you do it. You hold a glass rod while you're holding a paintbrush in the same hand, and you use the groove to hold the glass rod as a guide. There's a slight learning curve, but once you get used to it, it's pretty easy, and it's such a huge unlock. Before this, I had no idea how people painted straight lines with a paintbrush. So I guess this is how they would have done it. So now you know. Ostensibly, I think you're supposed to use a glass rod with this ruler because it's smoother, but I don't really trust myself with holding anything made of glass, so I've just opted for using an alternative like my other paintbrush. My goal for this year is that I really wanted to get into painting more, but my problem is that it's so cumbersome and annoying to set up. I mean, like, painting requires me to break out my paints and my palettes, and then once I'm done, I have to clean up. It's just not worth the time investment. But like I said, I'm trying to paint more, and that means painting less big, involved pieces and instead small little sketches in my sketchbook. So I invested in one of these. It's a small travel palette like this one. It's got 15 slots, which is more than enough color choices for the small pieces that I like making. And that means I don't have to constantly squeeze and mix paint whenever I want to paint something. It's also small enough that it sits on my desk at all times, which makes painting even more frictionless. The big unlock, however, is using a water brush in conjunction with it. Before this, when I wanted to paint, I'd have to bring out my paintbrushes and the bucket of water, and there's a lot of cleanup involved. It's a messy endeavor. But with the water brush, it just saves me a lot of time because I don't have to be constantly cleaning my brush and then refreshing my paint bucket water. And now all I have to do is just squeeze my water brush and it cleans itself, and I'll just rub it on a rag, and it's as simple as that. Sure, occasionally you have to refill the water brush, but that's a lot less hassle than the previous way of doing things. It's also a great solution to travel sketching. I really like plein air painting. And once again, the biggest roadblock I have is the amount of setup involved. This paint palette and water brush setup really streamlines my process, which again encourages me to paint more. And I think that's a great thing. So there you have it. I hope you've discovered some new tools and you find them useful as well. Do you have any cheap tools that were game changers for you? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.